Hey, so, filming this so y'all can see it, I am walking out to my field to feed the ravens and the crows, hopefully to try and get them to start leaving trinkets and befriend me. I haven't been feeding them regularly, so don't expect them to be here or even to hear me. A few years back, I'd been calling to them more often, and they'd start to gather around, so I'm starting up again. All right, this is pretty cool. Switch this around. Why is it not letting me turn the camera? Anyways, this is pretty cool. Here's the table that I set up for them under the power lines here. Land privileges, nice. I placed a bunch of peanuts all over this table, and they're all gone, so it was definitely some of the corvids. What's cool is that this is a container of chicken livers I left out. They hadn't touched it, and what's really cool about that is that it means that the other predators haven't come and taken it yet. So that means that this little station I set up, this little table, is working as being a station for corvids. So I say corvids, so it's probably crows and maybe blue jays as well, because they love peanuts. Raw peanuts here. Most birds can't get into them as easily, so this is a nice way of selecting for corvids. So corvids didn't take the liver here. I'll just toss this on the ground for the coyotes. Oh, cool, you actually have some coyote scat right here. Look at that. That's pretty good sized, actually. Well, there appears to be deer hair in it. Today, for our station, we will be feeding the ravens bits and pieces of road-killed squirrel cut into small pieces, small enough for them to carry away anyways. I can usually do a better trill, because my throat's been bothering me today. See, I can't quite get it's a little too dry. It should be more lyrical. Just gotta get little squirrel feetsies. Aw. Poor baby, but definitely feed a happy, ravenous raven. So, we have our peanuts. Let's grab the rest of them off the ground. I want to keep them up here so that they know that this is always the same spot, because I've heard that they do leave gifts eventually. They will bring you shiny things, so I want them to associate the peanuts, any of the meats I give them, and all this food station with me, so they'll get to know me. For some reason, the ravens in Connecticut are the least friendly ravens I've ever interacted with. They just don't like to talk to humans. I've been all over the country. I've been to Washington State, California. I've been to all states except Alaska, and every state except for Connecticut, they'll chirp back to you. They'll at least do something. They'll circle around, chirp, see what you're doing. Connecticut, they completely ignore you. There's like, I don't care. I'm too busy. Maybe it's because they just started moving back into the state of Connecticut. I say moving back. This is from, I don't know, let's say at least a century. Ravens really don't like nesting on humans very much. But in the recent 15 years or so, especially the last 5 or 6 years, ravens have definitely been making a huge comeback in Connecticut. I've seen this this pair, I assume a breeding pair, in Milford, Connecticut. Right on, while riding on the Metro North Railroad, I can look out and see, hey, there's ravens there. If they're a pair, I assume they're breeding. I can't think where they would commute to. I mean, if I see them every time I go through there, not every time, if 1 out of every 3 times I'm riding the train, I see them, they're probably right there, which means they probably have a nest that's close enough to hear the sound of traffic or be exposed to light pollution. They usually really don't like being around humans. They're shy as adults. So I'm sort of curious as to why they're moving back. I have my theories. Personally, I think it's a response to the West Nile virus just wiping out so much of the crow population. You know, Connecticut got hit especially bad in the early 2000s. We lost, 98% of the crow population in some areas. And after that, I started to notice a couple interesting things. Fish crows. It's a smaller little crow that lives by the coast, and they move in, instead of the family groups you with crows, they move in flocks. So I started seeing flocks of fish crows flying up away from the coast. Normally don't see them away from the coast. So flying into where I am, East Haddam, Connecticut. And then a little bit around the same time, I started seeing ravens coming in the more isolated patches of Middlesex County. And this was 12 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe when I first saw ravens. I saw them in Haddam Neck, Connecticut. And they've slowly been making their way here. So now, there are, every town I go to has a pair of ravens, which is pretty damn cool. I'm looking for a long time to get the raven call down. I guess I'm still a little scratchy throat, can't get it quite. I'll do another video about my process for how I've learned to make the sounds or practice them or tried to decode Corvid language. And they do definitely have language. A linguist can get into an argument with me about there's improper syntax, or there is no syntax, or there's no distinct sound for a verb tense or something, but whatever. Fuck them. All you linguists out there, fuck you. Ravens can talk. Where did I go with that? Yeah, the fish crows have this funny little vocalization. It's a little honky kind of, I call it a honk. It's not a crow. It's a ha 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 ha. And you'll see a bunch of them. Another cool thing we've also had, and I'm suspicious again, I think this is also part of the mass die-off of the crows. Black vultures have appeared in my area of Connecticut again. Big flocks of them. They used to be just transient and they'd migrate out. It wouldn't be very common, but now they're abundant. So pretty cool. In my my power line feeding stations here, when I brought out big food items, a roadkill deer that wasn't fresh enough for me to like skin it to work with a hide, but wasn't fresh enough for me to want to eat, or maybe I didn't want to eat the whole thing, or I just had a gut pile I need to get rid of. When you bring out large amounts of food, everyone comes in because they can't all finish it in one sitting. And I actually had set up a game camera years ago and actually got footage of turkey vultures, black vultures, American crows, American ravens, and the coolest thing visiting the carrion pile was a bald fucking eagle. We've got a resident eagle population here next to the Connecticut River, and they absolutely eat carrion, and it's a spooky thing. It's a cool experience walking up on your feeding station expecting to say, oh, a turkey vulture, and this monstrous thing takes off. You really, you see eagles in movies, and then, oh, that's cool, that's big. You see them in a zoo. Usually they're missing a wing. They're kind of, not, you don't get to see them in the wild, sort of raw nature. But you see an eagle take off the ground. It's a crazy experience. It's like watching like watching lightning strike unnervingly close to you. It's just a very raw primal experience. Like, holy fuck, that's a big predator. So this is the first of hopefully many, and I'll stop it here. Oh, I can stop at exactly 10 minutes.